All right, want to do a quick screen recording here of some little tricks we've learned about the family tree app and how to submit names over to the temple. So you go into the app, you obviously have to have your username and password set up. And we'll just go right to what it shows you from the beginning. So if you go to your tree, it's going to look something like this. And then I just start expanding that. So go up. I'm just going to keep going as far as it lets me. And so I'm gonna stop here at Henry Watts. If you want to see where you're at, you can kind of zoom out like that. But we click on Henry Watts, and then up in the top right, you'll see those three dots. You click on those, and then you do descendants with tasks. So tapping on that, and you'll see there's about 31 tasks up here at the top. If you want to expand that out, then you click on this little, I guess it's a tree thing, showing 3 generations right now, but you can expand that up to 5 generations. And then the number of tasks will turn to 61. And so the concentration right now is more of the low-hanging fruit. There's plenty of other work that needs to be done, like the blue means certain things and the yellow. And then even these green with the little circle inside that is not what we're after. We want to find the ones that look like this. So George Watts, it's just a green circle, and you click directly on that circle rather than on his name. And so you'll see, if you click on the ordinances here, you can request all of the ones in green. There needs to be more information about his spouse to do that. But when I'm in there, I just hit request in the top right, and that sends it over to another section I'll show you, to the temple section. And then he disappears off there. And then you can scroll back again. William Godfrey Watts. Looks like another good, clean one. Nothing else needs to be done there. Send that over to the temple. William Pemberton. And then sometimes, for whatever reason, like Chris Pemberton underneath here, I think there needs to be more information on him, but it doesn't exactly show why. But this is another one that is clean. We can just send over, hit request in the top right. And then we've gone that far. So I want to show you also just some of the issues that sometimes you can run into. If we start back here at the tree, and then I'm just going to start on a little different branch. Top right. Till I get over to Nils Nelson. Right, is that the guy I wanted? Yeah, let's look at him. So top right, 3 dots, descendants with tasks, and then only 1 is showing up, but let's go back to 5. And then again, we're looking for just that green circle, negatory. All right, something I want to show you on one of these. So I'm going to click on Nils Mikkelsen here, and then go top right, descendants with tasks. And look at a few more of these, expand that out, 5 generations. And we scroll down, looking for the green circle. So Benjamin Mamenga. So this is a good example of something that happens fairly frequently. You see this little blue box in the bottom. You may reserve these ordinances, and then you have 120 days to complete them. So we don't actually request those. You can unclick it or just don't hit request and then go back. So that's fairly common. That's a family name, I guess, that has some other reservations on it that we don't want to mess with. Again, we're just focusing on the low-hanging fruit for now. The real genealogy, I guess, is when you dive in and start fixing a lot of these issues. But for now, our concentration is just getting names over. So I found this information going under Carl Emil Bruggeman. That's another one. So we won't mess with that one. Got this info from a friend of mine who was an elders quorum president for 5 years, and his first counselor's wife actually discovered this little trick on how to do it during COVID. And sometimes, like that one had the green circle, but it doesn't show anything. But they started knocking out names and showing people how to do this in the ward. The first year they did like 65,000 names, just kind of tracking it between them. And then the next year, nothing to do there. they did 93,000. And they bumped into someone who worked for the church for the North America side of, the temple and family history stuff. And he was just so excited to learn about this. He said, we've been trying to figure out how to get more names over to the brethren. They are telling us we could build more temples if we had more names, but we're just struggling to get the names in. And I'll show you as well. I always assumed when you submit these names over that they kind of just go to the bottom of a pile of 1 million names that the church has of, temple work ready to be done. But I will show you. We'll do this last one, and then we'll bounce over to that part. So we're not going to do that one. So once you've gone through the whole list, I'll usually go through the full 241 tasks or whatever. And then you go over to this part. So the top left corner, you hit that menu, you go to temple, and then it shows my reservations here. And if I had accidentally clicked one of those names or sent someone in here that doesn't work, like my worry is always that I'm going to mess something up and somebody's going to not be able to get their work done because I made a mistake. But this is where it kind of screens you. So when you start clicking on these names, you'll see that this little share icon in the bottom right comes up. And if that ever goes away, you know that there's an issue with one of the names. And so if there is an issue, you can just hit unreserve on the left-hand side. But I'm going to hit share with the temple. So share at the bottom and then share with the temple. And then this is cool too. It shows you every ordinance that's going to be done. And because to be sealed to your parents, you have to be baptized, confirmed, initiatory, and endowment. If you just click on sealing to parents first, that'll click the rest. And then we're going to click seal to spouse. So 10 total ordinances, kind of gives you a summary here. And then you hit share with the temple. So I've been doing this just as I'm sitting around, instead of cruising Instagram, or we were watching a movie just the other night and I submitted over 100 names. And then the very cool thing with this is, like I said, these names are getting put to use right away. So today's the 13th of March. Yesterday in Star Valley, Wyoming Temple, these names were done. And then a lot of the other names that I submitted, Nauvoo, Illinois Temple, and you will get an actual notification saying temple ordinances recorded, like less than 24 hours away from the time that you submitted them. The work is getting done already. So these names are needed. There's tons of people out there waiting for their work to get done, and that's super simple for us just to be able to submit all these names, especially with the Syracuse Temple coming. So pretty cool, pretty easy. Beats the old way where you used to go into tasks and it shows you, I have more now, but 63 tasks, and hardly any of these are low hanging fruit. They all kind of need something to do before they're ready to be submitted over to the temple. But like this one I could do because I am a family member, but I would hold off for now. I'd probably just take that on my own. But this dead ends pretty quickly. So go here, tree. Just scroll up on any line you want. And then just click on a name, any person. Let's go Johann Jakob Scher. Well, let's do Anna Maria Dietrich. It doesn't matter, boy or girl. Top right corner. Down, descendants with tasks. Expand that to 5 generations. And then we're looking for the green circle without any other circles in it. If it looks like everything's good with the name, like that one is a no-go with 120 days, but those other two are beautiful. Request them. And then when you're ready to send them to the temple, you go up here to the top left. Temple. Click them, select both those, share with temple. And that's it.